you truly discover who you are when shit hits the fan, when we are tested, when we are pushed to our limits, when things don't go our way. This is who we find. This is when we discover who we truly are. And yet, you never want to get to that point. You never want to get battle tested and discover that you don't live up to the standard, that you aren't actually there and worthy of that moment. You don't want to reach the crucial point in life, in sports, in business, or any of that stuff and go, shit, maybe I actually don't have the mettle to handle this. Maybe I don't actually have what it takes. You don't want to reach that point. So, what do we do instead? We test ourselves daily. That is part of what chasing greatness is. There are many components to this and many things that I think build you into being the man that you want to be. From grit, discipline, determination, not being a soft cock, like all the things that come with that. But part of it is to define your character, to refine it, to discover who you truly are. Because it's only when we are pushed, when we are tested, when we are challenged, that we get to discover deep down inside who we truly are. It's really easy to be like, yeah, I'm disciplined, I'm hardcore, I can handle anything that's thrown at me. If nothing's ever thrown at you, it's all well and good to say those things when, life is easy. But when shit gets hard, when the circumstances arise, when, your back's against the wall, who are you then? Do you keep showing up as that best version of yourself? Do you still remain optimistic and driven and focused? Or do you run and hide? Do you put your head in the sand? Do you activate ostrich mode? Like, who are you in those moments? Now, obviously, we don't want to create true catastrophes. We don't want to create absolute obstacles. So how do we test it? We test it by doing the work. We test it by testing you, by showing up and seeing who you are in those moments. So we go out every single day and we work our asses off. We battle test ourselves physically because nothing will determine and show who you are like pushing yourself to your physical capacity. Who you are when you're in pain, when you're suffering. That's who you truly are. That's when everything comes out. That's when we find out what's actually on the inside and not just what's bravado and show. And that's why I believe that physically pushing your limits and discovering who you can be, beyond being fit and healthy and having a great body and building confidence and discipline and all the other things that we talk about regularly, it's to see who you are in your darkest moments. Who are you? And what do you kick back on? Do you quit? Do you call it? Do you slow down? Do you fire up? Who are you in those moments? And it's like we discussed the other day about fixed versus growth mindsets. Even if you are someone who shies away from it, you can recalibrate that. You can shift that. You can redefine your character. You can build it into the man you want it to be. We talk a lot about act as if. Keep showing up as the man you want to be. And eventually you will be that. It'll just become ingrained in you and that's who you will be. But you have to put yourself into those situations consistently to get the opportunity to ingrain that into you. To get the opportunity to build that as your norm. You can't just wake up in a dire situation and go, oh yeah, I'm gonna put out the character that I want it to be. No, that ship has sailed. You have to have built that into you already, because otherwise it won't be there when you need it. It won't show up in those moments when you truly need it to be there. So this is what we do. And this is why we talk about things like with the weighted walks, that it should be done in silence. It should be no distractions. It's just you and the weight and getting that shit done. Because you discover a shit ton about yourself in those moments. When that weight is heavy, when it's weighing you down, when your body's screaming at you to slow down, to stop, to rest, to take a break, and you don't listen and you keep going, you learn a hell of a lot about yourself and about who you are in those moments. Those are really important lessons. It's why that weighted walk transfers to a hell of a lot more than just conditioning, than, working on your aerobic capacity, on burning fat. Yeah, it does all those things, but it's also about what's up here, what's between your ears, what's going on there. And it highlights it to the ninth degree. It shows you what's going on there. It shows you who you are in those moments. It shows you what you value. And I have to be honest, there are days where I feel that my character is lacking. There has been segments of this process in the last 250 plus days where I've been like, fuck, I don't want to be that guy. And in that moment, I was not the man that I claim I wanted to be. And I got to the end and I was like, I need to redefine who I am. I need to do better, because that was not good enough. What I displayed out there, if we got into a real situation, if we got our backs against the wall, I would not be pleased with that. I would not be happy with the response I gave to that. And so I've been working on it, and I've been refining it, and I've been digging deep. And sometimes it may seem crazy to push through pain, because we're taught that we shouldn't push through pain. But we have gotten so soft in society that most people don't even know what pain is. That at the first inkling of discomfort, they're like, oh, nah, I'm done. I'm calling it. I'm quitting on that. That's why when we look at people like Ned Brockman or David Goggins or Cam Hanes or these kinds of guys who do truly insane levels of things, that their mental toughness is out of this world, that we are in awe of them, because your average person can't handle discomfort, let alone pain, let alone choose it deliberately and push through it. But as I said, we truly find out who we are when we're in pain. And it's not that we want to deliberately inflict damaging pain on ourselves. It's that we want to know who we are when shit hurts and we are tested, and we have the choice to keep pushing forward or scale back. And I had one of those moments where I got tested and I was pleased at how far my character had come. So I was, lining up for my weighted walk. Get about 5 minutes in, I'm taking the dog with me, 30 kilos on my back, and she pulled funny, and I felt something just twinge in my upper back. I took a moment, I assessed it, concluded that it wasn't something that was going to be long-term damage. I just tweaked a muscle. However, it now hurt to breathe. Every breath hurt, especially if I took a deep breath, hurt. And so I had the option of, I was like, oh, well, I could turn around and go home. I'm so close to home that it wouldn't be a big deal. Or I could harden up. Or I could make the decision to keep pushing forward and finish my walk. So that's exactly what I did. And I was very pleased with myself on that moment of character. Because as I said, it's not about damaging yourself. And I knew in that moment, because I know my body well enough, that I wasn't going to do damage. I was just hurting. I just tweaked something and it hurt. And it's going to hurt for a couple of days. And that's life. And we move on from that. But I showed myself, because no one else matters, but I showed myself what truly mattered in that moment. I showed myself what was important. And I showed who I was. That when it hit the fan, I had the option to call it quits. I had the option to just turn around and be like, well, I tried. But instead, I dug deep. I pushed through. And not only did I push through, I found another gear. And that's when you start to learn about your character. That when shit gets hard, there are because there are degrees of it. It's, do you quit? Do you slow down? Do you lessen the objective? Do you continue as was, or do you ramp the fuck up? And I was proud of myself in that moment because I ramped the fuck up. And as I said, this is just a story. This is just me talking to you. So it doesn't serve anyone else. It doesn't change anything, but it's about me and me. I learned about who I am in those moments, and that's what matters. I got another, credibility score. I got another notch in my belt, another moment where I was like, I am the man I say I am. I am the man who will rise when shit hits the fan. Not only will I handle it, I can step up another level. I can take on more and handle it at another gear. And that was the important lesson for me. That was the thing that really I needed to see for myself. I needed to have those moments. It's why when we talk about, having a misogi moment once a year, where you take on something so difficult, so challenging, that there is at least a 50% chance that you will fail at doing it. But you go in and give it your all. You go in and you learn a shit ton about who you are in those moments when you know that there is a 50-50 chance that you won't succeed at this, but you still go in and give it absolutely everything you have. You leave it all out there in the battlefield, and there's nothing left to give. It sets your year up to be, well, if I can handle that, everything else is just a cakewalk. Everything else is just cruisy. Everything else isn't truly going to hurt me or mess me up, or leave me damaged in any way. The rest is just stress. The rest is just choices. The rest is just a choice on how we feel that and deal with those in those moments. So you just take that on. And that's what chasing greatness is in the microcosm. It's a daily version of a misogi, that you take that on and it's difficult and it challenges you and it kicks you around and you stand up and you take it, and then you take it again the next day and you get better. So you ramp it up, so you take more. So when life comes at you, you're like, whatever. I voluntarily choose to suffer. I voluntarily put myself through hell every single day. Bring it on, life. Whatever you can throw at me, I can handle, because I have chosen this. I have chosen to go forth and take on challenges. I've chosen to test my mettle, to test my character, to test my willpower daily. So yeah, life just is after that. Life becomes easy. Life becomes the cruisy version, because you've practiced so hard that the game of life is easy. And that's when you really start winning. When you realize that all the stress and the anxiety and all the problems that come from your life are your choice. You choosing to take them on that way. Or are they just an obstacle to overcome? They're just a challenge to be solved, just a problem to be fixed. Like, you can choose how you respond to the circumstances of life. Remember, 90% of life is how you respond to it. Only 10% of it is what actually happens to you. So you, at all moments, have the opportunity to make a different choice, to make a better choice, to choose something different, to be the best version of yourself, and to take it on, to not be like, fuck, I am so stressed out, I can't handle any of this, my life is so hard. But you made those choices. You could view it as an opportunity for growth. You could view it as an obstacle to be overcome so that you can become a better version of yourself. You are always in control of what is happening to you. You are always in control of where life is and how you respond to it. Remember, life is a direct response to your thoughts, your habits, and your actions, because that's all you can control. So if you aren't happy with it, fucking change it. Make a better choice. Test yourself. Start building up the resilience, building up that fortitude, building up that toughness, so that when life tries to kick you, you're like, yeah, let's fucking go. I will overcome this and I'll come out the other side better. It means that everything else is easier and put into perspective in that fashion, that it's just another day, another challenge, another obstacle to overcome. And you voluntarily and daily choose that anyway. So what difference does it make where the source comes from? What difference does it make that this one is an external source? And then also you just remember, if you control what you can control, if you focus on the things that are within your power, your thoughts, your actions, and your habits, if that's what you focus on and you give that everything you have, you've done all you can do. There's no point adding to your stress. There's no point adding to it with other things because you are not in control of those. Focus on what you can control. Focus on testing your mettle. Focus on testing your discipline, your fortitude, your willpower. Testing how you show up. And if you do that daily, if you keep building that skill, you build it and callous that part of you to handle any obstacle that is thrown at you, your life will get better, your life will get easier, and it will continue to improve. Because so much of success in life is how much stress, obstacles, and challenges can you handle and resolve. So if you're just used to going out every day and handling that, if your whole life is built about taking on that load and handling it, success isn't inevitable. It will come to you. It will come in massive waves, and you will succeed in areas that you couldn't even fathom. And it all started because you decided to push yourself and work out and see who you could be. That seems like a worthwhile adventure. That seems like a worthwhile thing to do with your life. So if you're ready for that, if you're ready to take that on, if you're ready to see who you can be, to test your willpower, to discover who you are when shit hits the fan, let's get you into chasing greatness. Let's start the process. Let's start building you out and see who you can become. If you're not quite there yet, please click the link in my bio, grab my top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness. And lastly, if this spoke to you, if it was interesting, if it inspired you, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'm here every single day, sharing from the front, sharing as I go through this journey. And I battle test myself, and I learn these lessons. And I want to share them with you so you can fast forward the process and jump ahead and not have to deal with as many obstacles and issues as I've overcome. But I'll be back again tomorrow. Until then.